Epho just dropped a new project called E5. Let's talk about it. So going into this, I'd never heard of Epho before. Epho, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's spelled E-P-H-O. And I really didn't know like what his style, what his sound was. I can't even remember how this came up. I think this might have been on a random playlist of new music that dropped this week for Christian in general, like Christian art in general, not just Christian rap. I don't even know, like, still, like, after listening, what, like, style. It's not like Detroit style or something, but it does have a very underground sound to it. And I'll start off saying, out of a lot of the underground stuff that I've been listening to, his has one of the more polished sounds, especially on the vocals. Sounds like the mix is really good, and the vocals aren't super muddy or distorted like a lot of underground rap is. It's very crisp and clear, and even the melodic stuff, it's very well mixed and mastered is what I'm trying to say here. Guys are gonna cook me in the comments probably. I'm starting to get a little more. I'm going to try and critique a little more in these videos as I keep going. This album, the first several songs kind of threw me off. I wasn't the biggest fan of them. And overall in this album, I just wasn't a huge fan of how he painted women. All the feminists calling me, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, and this was actually something I've been wanting to talk about just in its own video. But the way that a lot of specifically underground rap kind of paints women, usually we're supposed to like edify them, and Christian rap is supposed to be like the genre that like uplifts women, and it slowly started becoming more of like women are evil and women are like the bad guy, which is crazy to me. And a lot of this album, there are times where he's like, I need a P31, Proverbs 31 woman, and that's cool. But then not just in this album, but in a lot of stuff I'm listening to, especially the ones that are into all the demon killing stuff and like I'm gonna shoot a demon and kill him, they kind of tend to get lumped in with this view of women as well. Just like they're the problem when it's really the artist's sin that they're struggling, like their sexual sin, and they're just putting it on the women as it's their fault, which is crazy to me. And I'm not saying that Epho is necessarily saying this. He could mean it in a different way, but that's just how I heard it and how I interpreted the lyrics. So I wasn't a huge fan of that. And I really want Christian rap to start doing better, especially in this kind of underground wave and sound where it's like, get out of like Jezebel spirits or whatever, when it's literally like, just take accountability for your own like sexual sin. And there is a song on this album where he did talk about like his struggles with porn and stuff. And I think it may have been Story of My Life. And that was one of my favorite songs just because it was like a nice change from him just talking about women being like, man, you're the problem. I blame you for all this. And he took accountability and he was like, yeah, I struggled with porn since I was like a little, like, I don't know, 12 or 11, whatever he said in the song. But yeah, there were of like probably 2 or 3 songs that I was like, okay, I'd add this to a playlist. Okie Okie or Okay was one of them. That was the first song that I really was like, man, I actually really like this. There was a Holy Gabbana reference in there, and that's a pretty niche reference, I feel like. I don't think he gets talked about enough. But yeah, shout out to Holy Gabbana. My other favorite one, Story of My Life again, and then I forget what other one I really liked. Praising God might have been it. But then, again, like with one of the titles, Poop Box, Diss to the Devil. Like poop box, what the heck is that? I mean, I know what he's intending there, but it's just kind of like, I don't know about that title, bro. But yeah, overall, I wasn't the biggest fan of this project. There definitely are 2 to 3 songs that I am probably gonna listen to more than once, but the rest of the album probably I won't listen to again. Let me just go. I should have pulled this up before, but my music board, I reviewed it already. I didn't like write a review out, but I did a rating of the album. Let me just see what I gave it, because I think I remember, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, so just because of how many like songs with references to women, not painting them in the best light, I gave it a 2 out of 5, which isn't terrible. It's a little under 50 out of like 50%. And there's a couple other albums that I'm reviewing this week that are also probably going to be around the same rating. And I really want Christian rap to, kind of get away from all the demon killing, all of, like, again, the views of women that kind of were portrayed here in this album, E5. I want people to do better, and I'm not saying this either. I'm not saying be like overly positive about everything, because I tend to find artists that paint themselves in a worse light more attracting. Like, I'd listen to that more than the people that are like, oh, I'm perfect, I know everything, I'm doing like I'm an angel, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm perfect. I'd rather listen to someone who's like, no, I'm not the perfect person. So we just need like a good balance of both in Christian rap right now. So shout out to Epho. I'll definitely be tapping in with more of his music in the future. This isn't just a one and done thing with him. It's not going to turn me away from listening to him ever again. This was just my honest thoughts on the project. I've never heard of him before. I've never even talked to him. I have no idea who he is, but this was just my first impression of him and his music. So shout out to E5. I'll have the link in the description if you want to go check him out. Go give the album a listen yourself. Let me know if my review is good or bad, if you agree with it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the project and on my takes that I had here. Go be fruitful. Let's go.